Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, Instagram. You guys, it's so exciting for me how pro I'm getting at running 3 live streams at one time. Because at one point in time, this would have been so overwhelming. And this is the part of growth that I just find so cool and so fun. And this is why I coach people, because this stuff literally changes your life when you learn how to manipulate it. Okay, I'm going to close the door really quick just so we don't get interrupted. I'll be right back. Hold, please. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Thursday. Happy Thursday. Hey, Michelle. Thanks for coming, babe. All right, you guys, we are on day 3 of the Spiritual Savage Strategies. I'm going to hop right in because this is going to be a lot of information again. So, I know I just kind of popped up on you guys this week and gave you some surprise classes. These will be available, though, as a workshop for replay. So if you've missed anything this week, go back and catch the replay. But also, if you just wanted to get the full course, let me know. And I can give you the 4 days that we've talked about so far, and then tomorrow's close-up call. But today is one of my favorite topics. Today we're going to talk about the psychic powers that people have. I put that in air quotes because everybody calls them something different. I just call it how you read the world, how you read energy. Everybody can read energy. It's just a matter of if we let ourselves be that smart. So I'm going to go through like the science of it first, kind of the numbers, the statistics, and then we'll talk about how your fitness journey plays a part in developing your psychic powers, right? You're like, wait a minute, what? Those two are so far apart. So, first of all, we only use about 20% of our full knowledge, like the knowledge within our body. We only use about 20% of it because only about 20% of it actually comes from the brain. A lot of the knowledge and knowing that we have in our body, like as far as how the nervous systems run, all of the, see you later, Michelle. Thanks for coming, babe. All of the different nervous systems. So we have our central nervous system, which is what we discuss a lot here when we're talking about sending the right message to the body to grow muscle. We also have the somatic nervous system. We have the autonomic nervous system. All of these nervous systems create the giant nervous system that I talk about when I'm talking about like regulating the nervous system, right? Okay, so all of these are different. Think of like the brain as the meeting. I think I've used this analogy before. It's kind of the meeting point of all the highways, right? So your autonomic nervous system sends messages. Your somatic nervous system sends messages. Your CNS sends messages. Your everything sends all the messages to the brain. But if the brain can only do 20% of the work, then there's a lot of knowledge and knowing locked in our bodies that we are not accessing on a daily basis. Okay. The other piece of science I want to talk about, we've been talking about this a lot over the past couple of days, but I really want to hone in on this one piece, is how the nervous system ties into your spirituality, right? Because what do we know about energy? It cannot be destroyed, right? It can only be converted. So once the energy has appeared in our body, we have one of two choices: to do something with it or to allow it to stay. And when we allow it to stay, we can end up with a lot of physical symptoms of pain, discomfort, irregularities, because we aren't moving the energy. And so what we know about calories, right? Because calories is just a measurement of energy. What we know about calories is we have to burn more than we consume to burn the fat, right? It's really the same idea with any energy in your body. You have to use more of it than you store in order to have a system that is in healthy momentum. Okay? This is why things like autoimmune disease can be so disruptive. I have celiacs, which is a type of autoimmune disease. It's the autoimmune disease where you can't eat gluten, and except for me, it's actually like medically necessary that I don't eat gluten. Like my body's like, nah, man, it literally shuts down. Lupus is another autoimmune disease. There's so many different nervous system diseases that interrupt these signals as well, right? So if you are someone who has like Lyme's disease or celiac, lupus, any of these kind of even things like fibromyalgia, right? Any of these more what do I want to call them? I hate that there's not a good term for them, but like they're loose medical diagnoses. They're loose in the sense that like there's actually no real explanation yet. We know very small things, very minute details about these diseases, and we don't understand how they can just be so dormant for so long and then appear and then be super aggressive. You know, they're not similar to cancer. And so when I look at a lot of these things and someone tells me that they have this, and don't panic, I'm not going to say, oh, we're just going to heal it with some spirituality. No, like as connected as I am to myself, I still cannot have gluten. Okay. If I could think myself into having gluten, I would have done it a long time ago. But it doesn't work that way. No, some of these things are actually happening in our body on a cellular level. So what I was going to say is that when we can get really connected, even in those conditions, you may not be able to completely change and heal the nervous system, right? But if we can get really connected and sit into and be present with these things that happen in our body and then accept them, like truly accept them, truly accept that your body did not come here to function as others did. In fact, as much as it may not feel like it, it's your gift. It is your gift. Let me explain what I mean. For me personally, and I'll give you a story of a client as well. But for me personally, I have a very, very strong intuition. Now, I have a lot of different little psychic powers. Not little, they're not little. There's big, okay? We got big energy in here. But I have a few different psychic powers, but my strongest sense, like the one I can rely on as if it's the dog I've had since I came into this earth, okay? Like it's so loyal to me, never lies, is my intuition. That's my magic spot. Now, a lot of people are like, well, your intuition isn't a place in your body, right? Because a lot of times people will say, well, I can feel it in my gut. Or like when I can feel it in my chest when I'm making a good decision for myself or a bad decision for myself. Okay, let's take away the complexity that we add when we talk about spirituality for a second. I want to talk about just a basic situation. I can feel it. People can tell me, I feel it in my gut if I should go to the gym or not. I feel it in my gut if I should have gone on that run or not. Right? So they have a literal pang in their stomach. There's some kind of sensation that they get in their stomach that tells them stay or go. This is something that we learn in human design when we talk about like the part of the program that this is a part of. There's a whole class that we review your specific human design, which is basically how we take all of these things we know about ourselves and then apply them in the real world, which makes a difference in like creating our reality too, like we talked about yesterday, right? So, the ability to know how you receive this information from the world is going to make it easier for you to then figure out how to respond to the information. The better you can respond to the information, the easier your life overall is going to be, right? Not just your health and fitness decisions, but your spiritual decisions, your emotional decisions, your relational decisions. Again, it's all a ripple effect. The better we can do it within ourselves, though, the better we will be at it outside of ourselves. And that is the part of being a spiritual savage. That is why I attached it to a health and fitness program, because one of the best ways for me to get to know myself and get to know my body was literally by just using it. You don't know what you don't know. You can't know what your body is capable of if you never push it. You can't know what change it's capable of if you never give it the environment to change in. Again, energy cannot be destroyed, only converted, right? This is science. So then when we talk about moving that to spirituality, it's the same thing. A lot of people, there's a lot of talk about like somatics lately. I love somatic healing. I am a very firm believer in it. It's very real. There are even like somatic therapists, you guys, outside of coaches, outside of healers. There are somatic therapists, whole therapists that literally just watch your body respond to certain information. I really believe that you can see energy in the body, literally. For instance, when you are tense, the first thing that most of us do is squint our eyes, which means if someone comes to me claiming they have a lot of migraines, number one, I'm going to say, okay, you're probably tense a lot. So what are we tense about? What are we holding on to, specifically in this area? We get to apply a lot of love and some just deep TLC to this area, right? We get to give ourselves daily massages. And we get to also consider the fact that migraines from a spiritual perspective represent a block. So where are you missing something? This is not to shame ourselves, okay? So this is the thing. We have to be careful about the energy that we use when we're investigating these things. It's not about shaming ourselves for being blocked. It's about opening our minds to where we might be missing something, because that missing piece is what is causing us this constant recurring pain. Okay, I struggled with migraines for years, almost a decade actually, until about 2 years ago. And I still get them from time to time, but I know exactly what does it. And they never, ever, ever, ever come without some kind of spiritual lesson attached. At this point, they're pretty minute lessons. They're a little bit smaller. It's not necessarily always like these huge epiphanies. However, there has never not been, since I've been aware of this, there has never not been a time that there wasn't some kind of soulful lesson that came with my migraine. So, anyways, back to what I was saying about intuition, right? So for me, that's how I read things. That's my strongest sense. One of my best friends and also my partner, they both have a very strong gut sense, okay? Like they literally feel it in their stomach when they're doing something right or wrong for themselves, when it's a hell yes or a hell no. That's something you guys are going to hear me saying a little bit more these days. Thanks, Carolina. Hi, babe. Is we should always be making decisions that are hell yes or hell no. If you are unsure, then that means you get to investigate a little bit and figure out why you are unsure. What bias or block is holding you back. But I think any decision you make, once you give that yes or no, it should be a hell yes or it should be a hell no. And you can learn to read your own hell yes and hell no by knowing how these things feel in the body. So this is how I know how to attack PRs in the gym. So this is what I mean. Sometimes we're like, well, what does this have to do with my fitness journey though? Like, how is this actually going to apply? Well, it all applies the same. It's just in the specific situation you're in. How does this help? Okay, well, me being able to read energy in my body allows me to walk into the gym and know if I can throw 400 plus pounds on the hip thrust bar that day, or if I'm going to be backing off and focusing on form. And it's such a quick decision because I can read it in my body, right? So this is why this is why the more spiritually connected you can be with yourself, the more successful you are going to be in your personal health and development journey. Okay, so then you have people who are very clairvoyant, like will literally get visions. This for me is kind of my second strongest sense. I get not only visions of like future things and then they come true, but they also come to me in like dreams. In the past couple of years, as I've really opened this door, I've had a lot of retro visions, like past visions, past lives of myself, of others. Now I have really opened the door to this for myself. Okay, like when I unlock this part of myself, I really like have let the energy in. So this is not to overwhelm you. This is also to tell you you get to control what goes out and what comes in. But you have to be able to vocalize what is too much, what is not enough, what is overwhelming, right? And we have to also be able to identify when it's feeling overwhelming so that then, because this is where we come back to the science of it, right? Then we can take the calming habits that we have, the things that we have in place to calm our nervous system, like our breath work, our meditation, yoga, etc., to bring our bodies back. Okay. And so a lot of this, like a lot of these psychic powers are really just the way that we stay in tune with our body. And the more in tune with your body you are, the easier. It's just going to be so effortless. Okay. And the last thing you're going to be worried about is if you're building muscle or losing fat. You guys, literally yesterday, I started this cut back in November. Yesterday, I was cooling down and had my leg out to do like a hamstring stretch. And I was massaging my hamstring, which I do every day when I'm feeling a tightness in certain areas while I'm in a hamstring stretch. I'll massage certain parts of my hamstring to kind of help release it. And I felt my hamstring, and there was like very little fat left back there. And I was like, the last time I did this, I'm pretty sure there was a little more fat back there. And now this is not in a judgmental way though, right? This is just like me realizing that enough time has passed that it has changed the feeling of my body. Now, I've been seeing my progress pictures. I know that my body's been changing. I've been feeling my clothes fit differently. I know that my body's been changing. I know that I'm losing fat, but it's very interesting how, literally like I stopped focusing on the number. I stopped focusing on that outcome, and all of a sudden it happens much quicker. Now, yes, obviously I've been training my body for the past couple of years to have a faster metabolism, to be healthier, to help it do this, but I could not do that if I did not allow myself to dig deeper and get very in tune with me. You cannot have the body of your dreams. You cannot have a body that is easily manipulated, that is easily adaptable, that will easily transition to whatever you need it to do until you get more in tune with it. And the only way to get more in tune with anything on any kind of deeper level is to investigate it. And that is also what our spirit, our spiritual or our soulful experience is really just getting more and more in tune with ourselves, because we are just a cellular replication of of the amazing galaxies and cosmos and universes that exist in human form, in human size. Okay? So, this is, again, to come back to the point, this is why you may not actually be tired. Okay? You may not actually be exhausted. You may not actually have migraines. You may not actually have this strange hip pain. You may not actually have, stiffness in your shoulder. Now, again, like I said earlier, yes, there are certain conditions. Yes, if you've had an injury on a physical level, that's going to make a difference. But if it's like you all of a sudden have migraines all of the time, or you all of a sudden have this strange hip pain, and no matter how many stretches or strengthening exercises you do, it doesn't really seem to help either way. If you are sick, like if you're sick to your stomach and you're in the middle of making a very emotional decision, or you have some emotional turmoil happening in your life, okay, a lot of the signs that we get don't come from our brain. Most of your intelligence is in the body. Okay, so be a human. Use your body because it is literally most of your intelligence. So then the more in tune you can get with it, the more tapped in you can be to that intelligence. And you're already smart, babe. But if you can tap into that level of intelligence, magnificent. Okay? All right, guys. That's all I've got for today. I hope you have a wonderful Thursday. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. Thanks for checking into my little spontaneous lives this week. And then I will be back on tomorrow morning for our last day. Tomorrow won't be as much info as the last couple of days. We're just going to have a nice, sweet little ending. And then hopefully get to see a couple of you who've been watching for the last couple of days inside the program, the Spiritual Savage Strategy. Okay, you guys? So just as a reminder, that is 6 months long of customized training, nutrition, fitness, all that jazz, on top of the course, Spiritual Savage, that is going to walk you through not only like these psychic cool powers that we have, but also just learning more about our internal world so that we can create the outer reality we want, whether it's physical fitness, mental fitness, emotional fitness, soul fitness. We got it all here. Okay. All right, you guys, let me know. Go ahead, drop Savage in the comments if you're interested. That's the word of the week. There will be some more info coming out about the program. And like I said yesterday too, if you have any specific questions or anything, feel free to let me know. And then just keep an eye out over the next month or so, because this is not the only week we'll be talking about this. It's going to look a little different as we come out of this week. This week, I really only want to hear from my ladies who want the fitness program and the Spiritual Savage course together, okay? But there will be some opportunities for everybody to get a little taste of their Spiritual Savage. So just keep an eye out for all that stuff. Otherwise, you guys have a great day. I'm going to have a great day. See you later. Bye.